So you're telling me there are ways to make money on TikTok, like real money, without ever showing your face. Color me intrigued.
I was skeptical too at first, not gonna lie.
Nah.
But it turns out there's a whole movement of creators going faceless on TikTok, and some are making serious bank.
Okay, see, that's what I wanted to unpack in this deep dive. Because sure, I get the appeal. Not everyone wants to be a face-on-camera personality.
Exactly. And honestly, it's kind of refreshing, right? The shift away from the whole influencer spotlight. People are craving a different way to engage with online content, and it seems like faceless TikTok might be it.
You shared this fascinating video with me, right, by a creator named Odetta Rockhead Kerr.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Yeah,
She breaks down her whole method for building a faceless TikTok presence.
and she makes a living doing this, like, full-time.
She does,
Yeah.
which is impressive in and of itself. But what I appreciate most about her approach is the honesty. She doesn't sugarcoat it. She's upfront about the work involved.
Well, let's get into it then. What kind of faceless content is actually working on TikTok these days? Is it just those endless loops of, like, paint mixing and cake decorating?
Those definitely have their place. But Odetta digs deeper. She talks about finding success in niches like, get this, miniature furniture restoration, and even, wait for it, faceless blacksmithing videos.
Blacksmithing. Okay, now I have to see this. That's not exactly what comes to mind when I think of viral TikTok content.
Right. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. The platform's all about that short-form, visually engaging content, stuff that just sucks you in. And there's something inherently captivating about watching a craft unfold, even if you don't see the person behind it.
It's like those oddly satisfying videos that make you stop scrolling for like an ungodly amount of time.
Exactly. But coming up with those endless scroll-stopping ideas, well, that's not always easy. Odetta's secret weapon, though, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, huh? Okay, so how does that work? I've played around with it a bit, and it's not exactly known for its originality.
And that's the thing. It's all about how you use it. Odetta uses ChatGPT strategically. Instead of just asking for generic content ideas, she feeds it specific prompts to uncover what she calls viral hooks within a niche.
So it's like having a personal brainstorming assistant who just so happens to have analyzed, like, the entire internet.
Pretty much. It's all about leveraging AI strengths, right? It's not about replacing human creativity, but using it as a tool to enhance it.
Okay, so now we've got our niche, we've got our AI-powered content plan. Time to make some TikToks. What's Odetta's take on the actual production side of things?
Well, she keeps it real here too, which I appreciate. No need for a fancy studio or expensive equipment. She's a big proponent of tools like Canva or CapCut for editing.
Both great options. And super beginner-friendly, which is key for anyone just starting out. I know I probably wouldn't be here today without those user-friendly editing tools.
Right. And for voiceovers, which, let's be real, can make or break a video, she loves those AI-generated voices, specifically 11 Labs.
I've played around with those a bit, and I gotta say, some of them are shockingly good.
Right. And it makes so much sense, especially for this faceless approach. You can maintain that air of anonymity while still having a really engaging and, importantly, human-sounding voice delivering your message.
But then she throws in this whole other element, and this is where I was like, okay, Odetta, you're speaking my language. She uses Suno AI, right, to turn those video scripts into actual songs.
Yes.
I mean, the idea of someone stumbling upon a mini blacksmithing musical on their FYP, it's just chef's kiss.
It's brilliant. It's unexpected, it's catchy, and it plays into TikTok's sound-first nature. People might scroll past a silent video or even one with a voiceover, but a song. Now that's going to stop them in their tracks.
All right, you've convinced me. Sign you up for the faceless TikTok blacksmithing musical extravaganza. But how does one actually turn all of this creativity into cold, hard cash? I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Or should I say the multiple-dollar question?
That's what we're here to find out. Odetta actually has a multi-pronged approach to monetization, which is smart because it's never a good idea to rely on just one income stream, especially in the ever-changing world of social media. So first up, we've got the one everyone's heard of, the TikTok Creator Fund.
Ah, yes, the elusive Creator Fund. The holy grail for TikTokers, or so they say. But does it live up to the hype?
That's the question, isn't it? And Odetta's pretty transparent about the realities of it. First off, to even be eligible, you need at least 10,000 followers and a whopping 100,000 views in the past 30 days.
Okay, so not exactly chump change, but for someone consistently putting out quality content, it's doable.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if you're showing your face or not, those requirements stay the same. But then there's the payout structure.
Yeah, let's talk about the money. How much are we really making per view?
Buckle up because it's not exactly a get-rich-quick scheme. We're talking roughly 2 to 4 cents for every 1,000 views.
Okay, so maybe not enough to quit your day job just yet?
Not right away, no. But here's the thing. The beauty of the faceless approach is that you're not limited by your schedule in the same way. You can, theoretically, create more content, which means more potential earnings over time.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. It's a volume game.
Precisely. And that's where things like batch creating and having a solid content strategy come in. But the Creator Fund isn't the only way to monetize your faceless TikTok empire. Odetta is also a fan of live streaming.
Oh, interesting. So even if you're not showing your face, you can still interact with your audience in real time.
Exactly. And this is where those virtual gifts come into play. Remember how we talked about the importance of engagement?
Right. Building that connection, even without the face-to-face.
People who vibe with your content, they can show their appreciation by sending these virtual gifts during your live streams, which then convert into actual money for you.
Okay, so walk me through that. How does the whole gift-to-dollar conversion work?
It's a little complicated, but Odetta breaks it down. Essentially, viewers purchase these virtual coins, which they then use to buy the gifts. And those gifts have different monetary values. For example, she mentions that 200 diamonds, that's what they call those gifts, sometimes equals $1.
So if you've got a super engaged audience showering you with virtual diamonds during a live stream,
You could be looking at a pretty decent payout, even without ever having to show your face.
I love it. But I imagine there's an art to this whole faceless live streaming thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not enough to just set up your phone and let the content run on autopilot. Engagement is key here, even more so than with pre-recorded videos. You need to be present, responding to comments, maybe even giving your viewers a behind-the-scenes glimpse into your process.
So it's about building that connection, even if it's virtual and, well, faceless.
And this is crucial. Odetta is adamant that you should never, ever beg for gifts.
Yeah, that feels kind of desperate, doesn't it?
Totally. It's off-putting, and it can actually hurt you in the long run. People can spot inauthenticity a mile away.
Okay, so focus on the content, engage authentically, and let those virtual gifts come organically. Got it. But let's be real, the Creator Fund is a slow burn, and live streaming takes time to build an audience. What's the third option for our faceless entrepreneurs who are maybe a little more impatient?
That's where brand deals and collaborations come into play, and this is where Odetta really shines because she's had some impressive success in this arena.
Okay, now we're talking the big leagues. But you probably need a massive following to even get on a brand's radar, right?
Not necessarily, actually. You don't need to be in the millions of followers to be attractive to brands.
Really?
Yeah. It's more about, having that niche down. Remember we talked about how important the algorithm thinks that is?
Right. Finding your people.
Exactly. It's not just about the number of followers. It's about having the right followers.
Yeah.
The ones who are genuinely interested in what you're putting out there. And those are the people that brands are really after.
Makes sense. So how do those brand deals actually happen? Are we talking like sliding into a brand's DMs, or is there a more official way to go about it?
Well, Odetta recommends a two-pronged approach. So first, as you start to gain some traction, brands might actually reach out to you.
Oh, so they do come knocking sometimes.
They do, especially if you've really carved out that niche
Yeah.
and established yourself as someone with influence in that space.
So it's all about building that credibility, even if it's behind the scenes.
Exactly. But you don't have to just sit around and wait for that magical brand fairy to find you. TikTok actually has this thing called the Creator Marketplace, and it's specifically designed to connect creators with brands.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a dating app, but for TikTok and brands.
Basically, you create a profile that showcases your content, your audience, and most importantly, your engagement rates.
Engagement. Right. That's the name of the game.
Exactly. Brands want to see that you've got an audience that's actually paying attention, clicking, commenting, all that good stuff.
So it's like a resume for your TikTok career. I love it. Okay, let's talk money. What kind of earnings are we looking at with these brand deals?
It varies, of course. Depends on your audience size, your niche, how involved the collaboration is. But Odetta gave some interesting numbers based on her experience.
Okay, hit me.
So for creators just starting out, maybe around 50,000 followers, brands might offer around $100 for a sponsored video.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And I'm guessing those numbers go up as your audience grows.
Oh, for sure. Odette has seen payouts range from a few $1,000s to get this over $100,000 for a single video integration.
Okay, now we're talking serious money. But those six-figure deals, those are probably reserved for the Charlie D'Amelios of the world, right?
You'd be surprised. Odetta stresses that even creators with, let's say, a couple 100,000 highly engaged followers can start to attract those bigger brands, especially if they've really honed in on a specific niche.
This is so inspiring. It really feels like there's a path here for everyone. You don't have to be a certain age. You don't have to look a certain way.
That's what I love about this whole faceless TikTok thing. It's like it's leveling the playing field
It's all about the creativity, the strategy, the hustle.
and a little bit of AI magic sprinkled in.
Exactly. Well, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I'm honestly blown away by the possibilities here. Who knew you could make a living or even a small fortune without ever showing your face online?
It's a whole new world out there.
It really is. So for our listeners who are feeling inspired, what's the one piece of advice you'd leave them with?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, find your people, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, everyone, happy TikToking.